What's up, Reefers? Welcome to another episode of Alex Pour Corals. This is Alex Wilson, your host, and this is more of the good, the bad, and the ugly, where I show you a little bit of the good, mostly bad, and a whole bunch of the ugly. So here we go. Well, it's another day of reefing, guys. So another day of living the dream. Reefing with saltwater, with reef fish, reef corals, live rock, saltwater. Gotta love it. So anyway, I'm just doing some daily maintenance here. I'm topping off the freshwater reservoir here on the Aquarium McCade. So I just use a 1 gallon jug, pour it right in the reservoir, and topping it off, and then I fill it back up using a funnel at the sink over there with the purified water. And one thing here, I've got this fuzzy piece here. I just like a piece of foam right here, and ideally I just need to find a small piece of acrylic plastic that I can cut right here. I just stuck that there temporarily, but originally I had this piece of plastic that was plastic that was going around the whole piece there from one side to the other side, and I didn't find that practical at all. So that's one of the things I just pulled straight off of the aquarium and tossed it, because I didn't like it. It had like a little opening here and an opening on the other side, but it's much better to have it just open like that. So you can check out, this is the overflow right there. So it's got the two systems right there, and it's definitely has a whole bunch of tunicates in there. Well, better than Aptasia. Speaking of which, have Aptasia and the quarantine system. So I don't know. I got to research whether this a shrimp will peppermint shrimp will fight with my cleaner shrimp. But ideally, I was thinking about getting a peppermint shrimp, putting it in the quarantine aquarium. And so I've got this 6-fan GHL right there, but it works pretty good. But I think ideally, I should have paid more. I think, it was quite a bit more to get 2-3 fans. But actually, it's more practical to have 3 fans, 2-3 fans, because then I could split them up and put one on each side, or one down in the sump, or what I needed to. But that should work for now. And so another thing is getting an awful lot of the browns and greens, of course, and a lot of diatoms on the glass. I clean the glass daily, as well as the back glass. You get a ton of algae on it. So that's one thing with the high nutrients. I'm trying to run the nitrates at between 10 and 5, and phosphates at 0.15. However, just this week, the nitrates got at, I dosed them. Well, I tested them, and they were at went all the way down to 0.01. So almost down to the lowest level, and then I dosed it all the way back up to actually 0.2, so slightly over the 0.15. But it's going down, so it comes back down. So what I'm trying to do is feed more, and I'm testing either once a week, but more likely I test twice a week. Ideally, I would like to test daily, but it's just way too much work. I was doing it every other day, so I'm going to try to drop that down to a weekly or twice a week. So anyway, I got the pump going here. Let's check out the pulsing xenia. So you can't really see it pulsing when the current is on that high. But elegance coral's looking good. Yep. And check out that's the candy cane, super green candy cane from Tidal Garden, Satan over there. So I think that was a good one that they had. It's doing okay. Yellow tank's getting bigger and bigger, eating like crazy. And let's see, like a lot of times I'll come over here. This is like his corner over here, right? And so if I get close, instead of going off and taking off, he like hangs out right here. See, he's kind of mad about it. See, but he'll come back over here and like challenge me, see, to come away from this corner right here. So it'd be like if you could get a close up, but he's taking off now. He said, "Okay, you can have the corner. Bye." See, we see he's upset. He's got his fin out and he's flipping around. So if I come back over here, he'll come back, but he's fine. And there's not a lot of places for him to hide in here either, so which is just my design, because then if they hide, you know, he's got some small spaces there, you know, like he sleeps right under the, kind of like in between those rocks right there, so it's a little bit of cover for him until the corals grow in, at least is the plan. But like the one underneath, you know, he has the rock in the sump, and he's like completely hidden a lot of the times, you know, he'll just go over there completely behind the rocks. So I like to have him out. That's nice. So that's the Duncan. This is a little close up. Goniopora there is kind of close, so that's not good. There's close up of the rock, and I have the snotty looking algae died down a little bit, so that's a good sign. You know, I also got a whole bunch of browns, but it looks like a whole bunch of the snotty stuff is burnt out a little bit. Of course, it can come back at any time. And that's the branching green hydnophora, and it's looking a little fuzzier than usual, so that's a good sign. Okay, and you know, it's just cleaning the glass like daily, like I mentioned, and you know, I use the flipper float. That's what I have right here. And a lot of times I use the smaller one too, that's, you know, extra thin, so I can get in there between the real thin areas. But you know, and this is a bigger one though that has so it gets a better grip on it and easier to clean too. I don't have a whole bunch in this one, so I'm using this one for now. But anyway, one thing I wanted to show you guys is here's the Crocea, close up of the Crocea. And so one of the things that people have mentioned is that, yeah, well, they have, when they're growing, you can see that their mantle is, well, their shell, if they're, you know, has some freshly grown shell on it, it'll be more of a stronger white color. So I was going to show that right now, see, because every time I pass my flipper magnet here by the clam, he'll close up and I could see the white section of the area of the shell. So check it out. So I could just pass right over him, see, right here. Oh no, he's gonna close up, so you can definitely see the white shell right there as he moves in. See, that's a good shot of him right there. And getting a little bit of coralline algae right there on the shell, that's a good sign. And get some other spots here and there, so hopefully it'll start to really take over here. And that's the goal with this system, you know, which is you know, high nutrient system. So you know, the goal is to get, you know, it's gonna be a brown algae, green algae mess until I get, you know, the 70% of the corals or 70% of the you know, square footage of the aquarium covered with either coral or coralline algae. So once I get that coralline algae to take over most of the rock, I think then that will be a big turning point. So that's the goal that I'm working towards on this one, right? And here's a shot of the Samuel coral. Here is still closed. Passilopora right there is still closed. So that's no good. But we come over here and check out the This is small polyp bubble coral, and it's looking vibrant, right? Let's like it should. And same thing with my green mushroom, green fuzzy mushroom right here. Can use some more shade, but he's accustomed to the brighter light at this point, and so for a while I had him kind of under the partial shade right there, and I brought him out. So let's take a look at the quarantine system today. And yep, so it's looking pretty good. So I got the orange discosomas to the left here. They're starting to recover from the no-pox overdose. And so here's that whole crazy clam right there. You can see that opening right there just a little bit. That's the opening to the clam. That whole piece of rock right there is one huge clam. And so it's there's some coralline algae on the rock right there. It's really starting to take off. I got the pink, the purple, all kinds of the crazy coralline algae taking off. So I put a bunch of these mushroom rock in there. I had coralline algae on it, and I put a little bit of the coralline algae in a bottle as well. So the leviopora right here is looking good down there in the crevice. Took me a while to get him smashed in the right spot somewhere, but that ended up being a good spot for him. And I've got my feather duster, and he's looking okay. And this is the blue spotted discosoma, blue discosoma doing good. And frog spawn, Precordias looking good. I smashed them over right here, even though they could just barely clean around them to get, around the glass, and everything is really tight, but, everything. So one of the things here with this, one thing, I have this protein skimmer up here, this Aquamax system. Yeah, it's okay. One of the good things about him right here, see, it has this rubber band piece right there, and this allows you to adjust the skimmer up and down. You can adjust the level of the whole column right there using the rubber band. You can push it way down or back up. So that's a really good way of adjusting it straight around. And of course, what I put on here, it has the air intake right here. And originally I had this whole like a top system on it right here, right? Like this plastic piece right here. But and I had a silencer on it right there. And so I couldn't use that, so instead I just stuck a real small air valve right here, with just a simple airline tubing valve. But this allows me to adjust the air intake, exactly where I want it. So that's really helpful. Instead of just having it blasting the whole time, I can turn it all the way down, even all the way off. And so instead of the piece up here, instead of having open, I just stuck that piece of foam right there for now. And I have fans up there, so that should work. And I haven't used this one yet in the summer, but before I had an aqua clear. But I have this on here. It comes right off like this. And that's just just the aqua clear right there. And so I just it has my probes right there and a heater, and I put a little bit of the crushed coral on the bottom right there, and it has like the media area there, and I just left it with the ceramic balls that it has. So the fan should shoot down. I got these good where you can angle it, a little bit down or up. And I could also put them down on the aquarium on the sides if I have to. But it doesn't look quite as good. But I could do that. So one thing I want to mention is that I have a lot of people, I have read about, some people using freshwater mollies for, quarantine systems like this, or, dealing with, as indicator fish. That they will tell you whether or not ick or velvet is present in the system. So just as they'll have, especially I've heard the black mollies are good because they're black, and so it's easier to see any sort of the ick or velvet on them. But I didn't use it on this system right here because because I feel like if I did that, they would just, I don't think I would catch the ick on them. So I feel like they would just be holding the ick, and then I would transfer over some of the corals right when I'm ready, and it would contaminate my main display system with the ick. And so, and then plus, it would be kind of like, kind of sacrificial fish too as well, because I put them in here, and let's say that, that they get velvet right away. Well, that's letting me know that there is velvet in there, but they would die with that, most likely. And so, yeah, so, it's just a complicated thing. So that's why I just for now, I'm just going without fishing here, putting stuff in here, and just going for the full 2.5 months. And ensuring that everything in here is velvet free, and then moving everything, most of the stuff over to the main display, and then getting new stuff in. So that's the idea behind it anyway. So let's take a closer look at these guys though. So luckily the grain slimer is still looking good. Good polyp extension. And I don't know, one of the things I've noticed, I tried to feed a little bit more in here. I think when I do it, the large polyps getting a little upset about too much food, or not as much polyp extension. And the hammer right there a little bit more closed up. Goniopora more closed up. So I'm gonna try to back off a little bit until I get a little bit more polyp extension. Maybe even the heliofungus. Not quite as much as it has been. So I could try to feed him a little bit more too. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the clams are looking good. Hippopus and gold crocetias. And like I said, if you're gonna try a clam, I recommend starting with either the Durasa. Well, I recommend either the Durasa or the Squamosa. Here's a Squamosa. But they get bigger, so and the Durasa are the bigger of the two, so I'd recommend the Squamosa over the Durasa. It's just a little bit more practical. It only gets 18 inches as opposed to, I believe the Durasa gets up to 24 inches eventually. I mean, it takes a long time, as I understand, but it's just they get really big, and it's really hard to move them and shoot water out and everything. So yep, those are then the Maximus and the Croceas are definitely the more sensitive. So meat coral's hanging out. He's been a little bit more close lately too. I'm gonna try to feed him as well. And let's check out this side. I moved this mushroom out right there. Fuzzy green mushroom. Had him in the corner. Nah, Scenerina right here, I don't know, he's looking kind of weird, so I haven't really seen him out, with his tentacles really out for feeding. I tried to feed him a couple times, but, I don't know, so I don't know if he's, might be receding a little bit. He's not 100% happy right there. But, got this mushroom section right here, it's doing good. One fuzzy mushroom down there, Discosoma for the orange Rhodactis and purple Rhodactis. And I got the leather coral right there, but he's not opening up, not happy, he's behind there. So I don't know what to do with him there, but I got the varieties here still alive on the Christmas tree worm rock, so I don't expect it to survive long term. If it does, it's great, cool. But regardless, though, the Christmas tree worms should do well over the long term. I've had them before for years and years, so Well, about a year. So last time when I had it, my original aquarium, I had, when they were a lot bigger Christmas tree worms. These are the micro ones, so not quite as cool, but still fun. And so I got the orange Rhodactis in the back, and that's the one that I have the shade on. So a lot of them they're died on me, so that's the reason they got too much light. So that's the reason why I put some shade up there for them right there with the foam. So that should work meanwhile. And the Australian live rock is still hanging out right here, and it's looking the same. So I did test alkalinity on here though too, and it was really high at 12.8. So I don't know why, that's weird. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and possibly add some in here, just so I can get the coralline algae, if there is some in there going, ideally. All right, guys. So I guess that's an update for you on the reefing fun. So happy reefing. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.